motherfuckers know the deal. I got that game of the year, game of the year, game of the year, game of the year, of the year, yeah. Game
Hello. Is that cool if I just jump right in?
Go right ahead.
Hi, everybody. Hi, everybody, and welcome to finally our VGU Game of the Year breakdown podcasts. My name is Graydon Webb. I will be hosting this rendition, episode 1 of possibly 4, possibly. You know how it goes here. They're probably going to go long at certain times, and it's kind of unorthodox this year. My team, my crew for the evening includes Alan Muir. How are you doing?
Thank you, sir. It's a pleasure to be here.
Alrighty. And Josh Miller. Hello.
Hello, you guys have pulled me away from a game that I think is going to be at the end of 2024 Game of the Year lists. And so hopefully this is good.
Do we get a hint as to what that is?
It is I want to say a remake, more of like
I know.
Major remastering.
I know. I know what game we're talking about.
Yeah. If I'm lucky, I'll finish it by the time we get to 2024 Game of the Year.
I have it installed, but I haven't gotten to it yet.
My God, I don't even know what it could be. That's how out of it I am right now with game stuff. I mean, I've gone so many times to look at every year at the beginning of the year, I'll make a list of games coming out for the year based on a Wikipedia list of games coming out. And that list is so small that I feel like we're in February already and there's nothing really set in stone for this whole year. So, I mean, Alan and I have been playing Prince of Persia. That's the one big one that I can think of that, oh God, I just realized what you're talking about. Okay. All right. I feel you. Yeah, that's a big one too. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting year. And 2023 was also an interesting year. And we're going to kick it off with a couple of smaller categories, trying to clean out the little things before we get into the nitty-gritty of our Game of the Year categories. So we shall begin, or how do we usually do this? Do we usually read off a whole list of all of our categories, or should we just jump into what we're doing today?
This is the unorthodox edition of the Game of the Year deliberations. So I figured,
yeah, maybe since we're on a time crunch, we just see what we
can
get to.
Yeah, see what we can get to.
All right, cool. So let's kick it off then with our typical first category, which is what took so long. We're doing this a little differently than we have in the past because in previous years we've ranked them, but we realized that instead of ranking, we're all just bringing one game to the table that we played this year. We've called this game of yesteryear before, but really what it is any year that was not 2023. A game that we got to last year that we shouldn't have slept on. We were like, wow, this game took us by surprise that we forgot about it, and we have finally reached it. So we'll just kind of go around the room and everybody just talk about their game that they brought. So how about we kick it off with Alan?
Yeah, so if you've been listening to the VGU podcast feed, more specifically the Indie Book Club podcast that Gray and I have been doing, we started with a game called Thomas Was Alone.
Indeed we did.
Great game.
Yeah, it took me so long to figure that out.
That's from 2012, right?
Sounds right.
It was a Flash game before that, so
right.
Yeah, I'd always it was always one of those games that I'd see on sale on Steam or Xbox or PSN, and I'd see it, and just never end up getting it. And it was when doing this podcast, or doing the Indie Book Club podcast, I thought I might as well. And the way that the story is told, with the narration, the way that the puzzles are done, particularly the way that everything is presented, is, I just, to bring it back to the thing that Graydon and I kept, the repeated thing was making us care about shapes.
Yeah,
Different shapes.
the mantra of the whole series was kind of, this is a game about shapes. Josh, have you played it?
I played it, I think, about like 10, 11 years ago. So I don't remember anything specific other than I really liked the game. And I was surprised that a game could be made in the way that it was, with such simplicity of like what characters were, and how like the levels were designed to fit said characters. It I mean, it was just a remarkable game. I think it may have been one of my first games I played on the Vita when I got it. But yeah, it
Yeah,
was
'cause also,
fantastic.
I should mention that Josh was going to be on the podcast,
Oh,
for,
God, yeah.
but unfortunately, a tragedy befell the Vita.
Yeah, when you started mentioning like how it's on sale everywhere all the time, I went through and added it on Xbox, and guess what game has not had a decent sale since you guys started talking about it?
Oh.
I'm like, come on, really?
Yeah, I think the main thing I was promoting during it was Switch, because we realized like it was a great handheld game. I had initially played it on Vita, and then this time around I played it on PS4. Alan played it, I think, mainly on Steam Deck, if not just.
No, first I played on Steam Deck, then I just pivoted over to Steam, like on
Okay.
my PC, and it's not that it's not verified,
Mm.
or like if there was I don't know if I think there was a compatibility issue, and there was like some controller input issues, so I ended up having to transfer my save to my PC, and it was just a blast from then on out. From there on out.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm super glad that you enjoyed it. I'm very glad that you were able to join me on it. That's what I was going to say. Was it the Switch? I was promoting that because it was on sale there, I think, through most of the time. But even so, totally fine that you didn't join us. I hope you're able to on a future one, because Indie Book Club, shameless plug, will be coming back hopefully next month. But yeah, it warmed my heart that this made what took me so long. And I feel like if we were ranking them, it probably would have been the number one, just because we all played it and liked it.
Yes.
But
Can I just say what game was originally going to be in this 26 Doom 2016?
Because this was the first time you played it, right, this year?
Wasn't the first time I played it, but it was the first time I beat it in 2 sittings.
Wow.
And it wasn't like a speed run setting, like sittings. No, I just was just sitting, and just like it was during the Summer Games Fest season. So now that E3 is no longer a thing anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just,
You couldn't put it down.
I couldn't put it down.
It does that to people.
Yeah, it's what I call the Horizon Zero Dawn effect, where I play the first game, then can't get into the second game.
Yeah. Too much. I feel like too much of a good thing, it can definitely cause some burnout. But eventually you'll want Eternal. Like I felt that way with certain things, certain games. I wish I could remember. but like you'll have a whole series available to you, but you're like, I kind of want to take that time that everyone would have experienced instead of like just binging all of them. That might have been how I felt about Uncharted. Like everything was available to me, but if you gave it like a year in between each one, then you have more appreciation for it. So perhaps
Graydon,
Doom Eternal. Yeah, go ahead.
I've been playing MLB games for 20 years.
Yeah, it doesn't really work with Alan.
Correction. I think 25 years, maybe, since 1999.
Jesus. Well, to be fair, if you did the first one and then waited 25 years and played this year's, you would have
Oh,
quite
I'd hate it. I hate because
quite a
like
different game.
yeah, because I'd be going from the N64 to like the PS5, and I'd be going like, what is this?
That's how I feel about any baseball game at this point.
It's just too damn much.
Yeah, like the only baseball games I really ever played were like the Tommy Lasorda baseball on the Genesis and
Mhm.
what was it, Ken Griffey Jr. and and then I popped in MLB. I think it was last year. So I just because it came to Game Pass or whatever.
Mhm.
And I tried it and I was like, oh my god, I can't.
It's like
do
this is too real. I don't know what's going on. Like,
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like I've heard people say that with like Madden specifically, because at some point, most guys have been like, "Oh yeah, I used to play Madden," and then like if you play a new one, or NHL, that's another one. Like they're so different within such a small amount of time that if
Mhm.
you played one now, everyone's just like, what's a battle pass?" like with everything just, I mean, try to tell someone who was playing MLB on PS2 what stubs are. Like you were like, what?
you just brought back some trauma from summer 2009 when I was just going to hell on microtransactions
Oh god.
from
Yeah,
my Road to the Show player.
what was life like before you had microtransactions in MLB?
I was happier.
Well, you know what made me happy in
Good
2020?
segue. Good
Thank
segue.
you. Thank you. Some may say that there was a chorus of voices
Appreciation
of appreciation.
for this game.
So my game of the year was a little hidden gem from 2021 known as Chorus. And I don't know what made me play this. I think it was leaving Game Pass and I thought I want to try that. And then I ended up falling in love with it and made it like my goal to finish it within the month, or maybe even the 2 weeks, because you basically get a 2-week deadline of the next wave leaving Game Pass. And yeah, super took me by surprise.
Is
And
this? I think I
yeah,
know. I think I know what this game is. And when I say I know what this game is, I mean I think I know what the logo is.
are you gonna say Corvs?
Yeah. I was gonna say that.
Chorvs?
Hey, be careful! Be careful! I say that there's certain British slang that is you're getting close to.
Oh no. Well, I don't want to mess anybody up. Sorry, England. Um, but
I was gonna say,
yeah,
I
No,
remember you talking very highly of this game when you played it.
yeah. This is the like the ship combat game, right? Like the spaceship.
yeah.
Game?
So I had recently played some space game. I mean, last year my
Everspace.
no, so I hadn't played Everspace. Last year my what took me so long was observation or observation, and that was a one of those space exploration weird things. And like I love those. I found that I love space games. And another one I loved this year was Deliver Us Mars, which I didn't get to nominate for. Actually, it might be on our nominations somewhere, but fantastic game. And so Chorus is in the vein of something like a Star Wars Squadrons or Everspace, which I recently did a video on the YouTube channel. And I didn't know when I tried Everspace 2 that it was very similar to Chorus. But yeah, you play as a it's so hard to explain. You basically kind of meet like an alien entity that is also like a spaceship. Like your spaceship talks to you, and they're like your ally in combat, and it's just a world where like you become one with your ship type of thing, kind of like Transformers. and
I was actually going to say
and
something. I was actually going to say Farscape.
that may be true. I don't know very much about Farscape, but
Farscape was a 1999 Australian produced
cuts Mike.
series by in part by the Henson Company.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah, it's actually really impressive stuff the Creature Workshop did.
Huh. I'll have to check that out. But yeah, so just I don't know, there's exploration, there's like some mystery to the plot, you're going to different planets that have different looks to them. There's varied quests, there's really good space combat. Um and everything just works really, really well. And I was very surprised by how much fun I had with every second of it. And yeah, then I was like done with it, and I was like, no one talks about this game, like why? And then I mean, just looking at it now on Google, 89% like this. It has a 9 out of 10 on Steam. It has an 8 out of 10 from IGN. Like, it's a really good game, and people have acknowledged it. I don't know why barely anyone played it. It might have just
Okay.
come out at a weird time in 2021.
Yeah, I'm looking at gameplay and I think I need to play this because this looks like what I wanted from like this is like this looks like the Star Wars flight sim I wanted Squadrons to be.
Mm-hmm.
Like a basically like a Star Wars version of No Man's Sky, but like confined to ship stuff.
Yeah, it's all completely confined to the ship. There's I don't know if there's multiple perspectives of like camera, but like a first person and a third person, but there's like this open world, and you're going through like jump rings to like go for like hyperspace type thing. It's so good. It's really good. The story's very good. The characters are enjoyable. Um yeah, I can't recommend it enough, and it was definitely a highlight of my year playing that game.
How
Yeah,
much like ship combat is there? Because that was always the thing that turned me off, just because I'm really bad with
I
ship
would
combat stuff.
Yeah, there's a good amount. Because then you can like upgrade your guns and upgrade your hull, and just various things you can do. I would say it's probably 70% combat to third, or maybe 60% combat to the rest being like um
exploration. Or
yeah, exploration stuff. But even then, it's like it's one of those things where every bit of exploration or story beat will have some kind of combat. It just isn't always going to be this wave after wave thing, but it's just got such a good fluid motion that you're doing like these jumps and dodges, and you just really become one with the ship. Like you really learn the difficulty curve of it. So, I mean, it's definitely, if you want to give that a try, it's worth that try. But if you're not like crazy into ship combat, then maybe steer clear of it. But if you like space stuff, it'll scratch that itch.
yeah, because
And that's
I'm watching
Chorus.
gameplay and I think I don't know if I have this game on the Epic Game Store. but
Might have been.
because I'm looking at this and like the way that the way they introduce different enemies, the way they show off like the holographic or the hologram um memory stuff, like exposition
Mm-hmm.
looks very interesting.
Hmm.
And as you said, the different like the barrel rolls into like scanning different areas also looks really intriguing.
Yeah, it's got some really cool stuff in there. There's like within the combat. Oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze. Those moments of like you got to use a certain attack to knock out a shield, and then different like changing your guns up mid combat, and it's just really cool how they balance that out. It's just a lot of fun. Like thinking back on it, it makes me miss it. I don't know if it has much replayability, but it's a good time. But hey, what was your game, Josh?
So I originally was going to talk about one game, but then I kind of got back into a different one recently because it got added to Xbox.
Mhm.
And so I wanted to talk about Stumble Guys, the knockoff Fall Guys game.
Oh, that's what this is.
Yeah, so I played it a little while ago on mobile, and I've kind of had like kept dipping in and out of it throughout the year. And then it came to Xbox, and it just that's all. I don't want to say that's all I've been playing, but I've been like finding time to play it at least a few matches pretty much every day. And I mean, it's always better with controls, which automatically defeats the mobile version right there. But I think I like it more than Fall Guys.
I mean, yeah, there
Wow.
are guns in it.
Ah.
I'm literally looking at a video, like a thumbnail that it has like a banana character who has a gunshot wound. What is this? Like it's like top 50 funny moments in Stumble Guys, part 52. And it's just
Yo, they got
gun point.
SpongeBob?
It's crazy, like how much like they currently have a Mr. Beast event going on, but I mean it's Fall Guys essentially, just different obstacle courses to do and whatnot. But the thing I like about this is that you don't have to deal with the terrible Fall Guys like grabbing mechanic that I absolutely hated. And guys, it's just simply platforming. And so you don't have to worry about like jumping up and then grabbing this thing and then pulling yourself up and none of that frustration. It's literally just jumping around. But I mean, it's the Fall Guys craziness and fun and trying to beat other people to the end and good variety in the maps. I mean, the problem is that it has the whole gotcha mechanic and having to pay to get new like costumes or emotes, stuff like that, which can
Mhm.
get a little frustrating. But that's not really what I'm there for. I just kind of want to jump around and see how far I can get. But I mean, it's Fall Guys. It's a Fall
Would
Guys. I think came out a few months after Fall Guys did, but obviously was very much trying to beat them to the punch.
would you
I mean,
say
yeah.
it is to Fall Guys as Terraria is to Minecraft?
I would say even more so. Like, because Terraria, yeah, at least like there's the 2D versus the 3D and
It
all
tries
that sort
something
of
different.
stuff. It tried something different. This is just like there's no denying what what they were shooting for.
Okay.
Oh wait, I have a better analogy or better comparison. Would you say it's the H1Z1 to Daisy?
Oh.
Probably not having played either of them, but knowing enough about them, I would probably say so. Yeah.
Okay, that's all I needed to hear.
It sounds like it's the H1Z1 to DayZ to PUBG to Warzone to Fortnite. Like,
Pretty much, yes.
it just is the exact same genre, but it does it better. I mean, they got Smurfs, they got Rabbids. Can you Mr. Beast and his
Whoa,
They do
whoa,
have
whoa, whoa.
Mr. Beast skins, and there is a emote. So
oh
technically, you could.
We do not condone violence against prominent YouTubers. We don't condone that here. We don't condone
it's
that here.
I don't know.
Mr.
There's
Beast.
some YouTubers who very much need that condoned.
They need that violence. A little violence will do them good.
These
Man,
are all
Mr.
jokes,
Beast.
people, listeners. These are all jokes.
These are all- da, 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 da. All right. Well, that was what took you so long. What took us so long.
It did
Thank
take so
you.
long.
It did. It took a while. Yeah, thank you to everybody who had these pretty cool games over the years. Sorry it took us so damn long. Was Stumble Guys from last year?
It came out in 2020.
Oh, okay. All right. Then yeah, there we go. That's pretty great. I wonder what will be on our list this year. But hey, let's move on to our next category, which is the biggest gaming news stories of the year. So we have quite a few things here. I think a lot of them we just wanted to like touch upon, but they're not necessarily gonna really win because we're picking 3 of our 11. So, one second, and I will read down what our nominations are. So, we begin with DK Oldies being bad at their jobs. Super Mario Bros. Movie makes bank. Jesus, was that this year?
Yep,
But,
2023.
yeah, 2023.
Holy hell. Microsoft FTC trial revelations, including all the leaks. Series X and S parody clause, aka Baldur's Gate 3 fiasco. Dear God, the industry needs to unionize. More layoffs, Volition, Escapist, Ubisoft, etc. Subscription price increases. Unity charging devs debacle. Oh God, that was horrible. Retirement. Jim Ryan, Charles Martinet, Pete Hines, etc. The Game Awards. Who needs devs? Oh, short speeches and no condemning mass layoffs. Fantastic. The day before devs. Shutter 4 days after game release scam. God, I remember that. And the Insomniac hack. The Insomniac hack. So some of these are really good. Well, not good, but you know, like none of the thing here was really good. But wow, isn't that wild? Nothing. I mean, except for the Mario Bros. Movie, and I guess retirement for those people. Nothing here is a positive. What a year.
Well, depending on what your opinion is of the Microsoft Activision thing.
Yeah. Depending on where you are and what your tax bracket is.
Yeah.
It's pretty good for some people, half of these stories. All right. I mean, I guess every year we kind of just let Alan loose on this one. So where do you want to begin?
Okay,
Or
so
we could say what do we want to take off, but go ahead.
yeah, the DK Oldies one being them being bad at their jobs. There is so many, and this is still ongoing. Do either of you know what DK Oldies is?
Yes.
Okay, have either of you bought anything from DK Oldies?
I don't believe so.
No,
Good.
I thought
Good.
about it for a long time. I thought it sounded great because they show up in YouTube shorts all the time and look like they're so much fun.
Yeah,
They had the Epic Mickey controller, the brush Wiimote. They just gave it to a guy. They threw it into his package because he wrote to them about Epic Mickey. I'm
yeah,
not bitter. I'm not bitter. I'll just sit in my corner.
yeah. So DK Oldies pride themselves on their refurbishing old consoles and just their overall image. And there are many videos out there on YouTube of people opening up the hardware that DK Oldies, and I'm doing hand quotes, refurbished. And there is a YouTube content creator I watch, whose videos I watch, Jacob R, who has gone in depth on this. He has ordered from DK Oldies multiple times, and he has not, or they have not done their job well. They have, like, there's a video out there of the owner of the whole operation destroying an IQ Nintendo GBA
For no reason other than just because.
because claiming that it's not, it's a counterfeit. And it's even at a point now where people don't know if it was a publicity thing. Like, the guy literally has a baseball bat, drops the Game Boy, or the guy has a baseball bat and the GBA, and the video is literally titled "Destroying Knockoff Game Boy SP Systems."
Oh God.
So, and he places them on the ground and breaks them with a baseball bat.
Would you feel any different if he took the time to like show why it was a counterfeit one? Because I'm assuming he doesn't do that. He just goes to town on it.
He just breaks them,
So
and
stupid.
this confirms a comment. This confirms they don't open their systems. Ultimate fail. Next, you're going to destroy the Panasonic Q thing as a bootleg GameCube. Congratulations, Bozo. You just destroyed a rare collectible. The irony in linking a blog post about how to spot a fake GBA SP when you demonstrate yourself destroying a very real and very rare model. Guys, another one. Last one I'm going to read because, yeah. Guys, those are just minor scratches. They'll be refurbishing it and selling it for $5.99 cheap. And it's gotten to a point where people were grilling DK Oldies, and there's actually, like, that got to a point where DK Oldies went and, like, the guy Joey, who is pretty much the face of the operation, where, like, because as Graydon mentioned, there are a bunch of shorts that they have, or that they make, and it got to a point where there was a video released of them showing that they refurbish consoles, and, like, just very reactionary, like, oh no, we're not doing that, we're not doing this bad stuff. Yeah, it's just, it makes having to, like, as you guys know, I'm heavily going back and buying, like, getting retro games and all that.
I
And
take it you're not going to go through them anymore.
okay, here's the thing. I accidentally bought one game from them, and honestly, it's not a game that, I've tried playing the game, and I haven't had any problems, and it's, of all games, it's Dragon Ball Z Legacy of Goku, the first Legacy of Goku game.
Yeah.
So if anything, if anything happens, like, if it craps out, I'm not really that damaged. But I don't. I buy my games from Luki Games. Just saying.
Yeah, when I've been buying that stuff, Lukey's the one I've been going through.
Yeah. And can we just go back to the docs?
I'll say, do you think it holds up here with all the others?
No, this is just something that I added because I hate this type of this type of business practice, because you'll see videos of them, the face they're showing potential consumers, is all in bad faith, and there are, like I said, as I mentioned before, or as I said before, video upon video upon video of people people making videos of all like why you shouldn't buy from DK Oldies and the damage that it's doing to people who want to get into game collecting, who want to get systems or games that they had during their childhood, and it just brings everything down and makes everyone have to suffer because people wanted to just be assholes. So we can take that. That one can be taken off. Like this can be taken off. I just wanted to vent about that. So
Okay.
Unless,
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, unless anyone else has a fight to put up for them, I could probably name a few I think would be good to just remove off of here.
I mean, it's so this unorthodox one can make this kind of thing easy. Like we could all say, "Oh, let's all pick one," and then you have your three. But unless we pick the same one, of course. But perhaps we should, just because this is like a bigger list, and they're all really good, or you know what I mean. they're all very high profile stories. And I was even trying to pick some while you were talking, and I'm like, no, because even that one looks good. That one's good. But yeah, let's just do Alan. If you had to pick like one, as Emmett would say, your number one with a bullet. What is it?
the industry, dear God, the industry needs to unionize.
Okay. And Josh, how about yourself?
That would be mine as well.
That was gonna be mine as well.
I mean, the thing is, I think we had this exact same thing last year too, because this happens every year. I mean, even this year, like we're only in February, and I think there's like 10,000 jobs have been lost.
Mm-hmm.
And there's potential. There's stuff that's going on right now with Microsoft that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's.
So do you think that you think we chose this one last year, or are you just saying like we talked about it last year?
I think, if I remember right, I think we brought this up and we decided not to choose it just because it's something that comes up every year as a major issue with the industry. So maybe we don't pick it as a number one, but we can like. Maybe I don't want to say like set in stone as like the official.
It would be best. Like I personally think it would be a good if since we, based on what you just said, it would make a good 3, or at the worst a number 2, because it is number 2.
Well, what if we pivoted it a bit and we said that it's a big thing in the game industry that is a problem every year, but the way that it reared its ugly head this year was the Game Awards snub.
You could do that.
Yeah,
tie that into it.
Like we could say that like that's one of the big things of 2023 because they didn't address it. And I think like the big reason that was such a big problem in the online discourse was because that's like where all eyes were. And I mean, we it's part layoffs and it's part like the speeches thing where people were getting played off and people weren't getting their ability to really talk about the things they made and what they're passionate about.
Wrap it up.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Just the video, the actual footage of that being that like the whole wrap it up thing being shown while
With the Baldur's Gate guy.
While Larian, like the people from Larian, were trying to talk about like pay tribute to the people who died.
Yeah.
During the development of the game.
Oh, it's just sick. It's just so sick and just makes it feel. I mean, then you add in the whole Jeff Keighley bit where he was like just not very sympathetic with his apology, and it's like, dude, you were like the hero of the gaming space. Like, we were so happy when you took this over, when you like made E3 seasons so much better, and now it's just got like this sour taste of I mean, I don't know how the Dice Awards went. I remember at the time it was like, oh, you got to go watch those then. Like, we have to show them that we want speeches and what we really want from the show. I personally, I messed up and didn't watch them if they even happened yet. Maybe they were a later thing, but whatever. I assume they did. And but yeah, like, we just wanted to be able to feel like you're in the moment with these creators, and they really failed that. A failing of the industry, the way that it was handled. And yeah, so I mean, I'll underline that one definitely, and that can be our representation of the whole unionizing, the layoff that this year. Like, I mean, this was a year with a strike in every industry as well. Oh, it's crazy. All right, then I guess let's pick a number 2 then. Alan?
I would have to say the Insomniac hack.
Okay, I can see that. How about Josh?
I would probably say the Fantastic shuttering their game release thing.
I too, think I was gonna ask the Fantastic thing, because that was insanity. So I mean, in the end there we have 3. We like those 3? Game
I would be okay with
Awards,
those 3.
Insomniac hack?
Yeah.
I mean, the only other one that I like, obviously FTC trial was huge, but it was, in the end, there wasn't like we get.
Yeah, my favorite thing about the whole trial thing was just like getting a peek behind the curtain.
Yeah, it was pretty transparent in everything that was going on, and then like you had all those leaks and everything. Yeah, you're part of the action.
I think it was kind of like one of those things that the game industry feels so hidden from everybody else. Like, we're not supposed to know anything about things happening within the industry. And so seeing like all the emails, seeing like the pricing that Microsoft was thinking getting games on Game Pass would be, and seeing potential consoles and stuff that they had been talking about, like all that sort of stuff is absolutely fascinating to me. But at the end of the day, it kind of doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things.
I mean,
Yeah,
that's why.
It's more. I was gonna say it was more of a oh, interesting, rather than how did I? Wait, you're telling me this happened? They were gonna do this and this and this?
That's why I liked the Epic trial, the Epic versus Apple, because every time, like when we were doing
God.
that, we were
So-
like covering
The
that for a
reverberations are
couple
still being
weeks.
felt.
It was like weeks straight, and it was just like you felt like you were in the courtroom with every minute detail just being. I think, what was it, GamesInsider.biz? Is that the one that would just have like paragraphs on the shit, and you're like, oh, why am I reading court documents? Like, but I mean, you're part of it. And then you flip it and you look at something like what's going on today with the Xbox and Starfield thing, and it's like, then Xbox releases a statement like, more will be explained next week, and you're just like, why can't you just tell me? like it's exactly what you said. It feels like, oh, don't look behind the curtain. Like, why not? I wouldn't have to feel like, how many tweets I've read today that were like, I've quit Xbox, I'm done. My whole fucking
Yeah.
everything that I loved about them, I've been spit in my face. Like, what are you talking about? It's just, oh man, if they just talk
what
to
I did
us.
today? Bought a copy of Brute Force.
That'll really sure them.
It should.
But it's also stuff like that. I wonder, like with the whole Xbox releasing games on PS, PlayStation and whatnot. I always wonder if like stuff like that is planned out to be shown at like their E3 summer event type thing or whatever. But because the rumors come out that like screws up all of their plans.
Oh yeah, because if they
And then
do it,
people blame Microsoft, and it's like, guys, we had things planned that we were going to tell you, and
Mhm.
but you're whoever is leaking this stuff is ruining it for both us and you.
and it's so funny because you can have something be like, "Oh, we have brought to the table." Like I look back on the Xbox One reveal, and it was like such a big thing, and they had all these things, and everyone was pissed about it, and like they planned for so long to get that thing off the ground. And
Mhm.
they went into that day thinking this thing's gonna kick ass. You can watch basketball while you're playing Connectimals. And everyone was pissed. And then this kind of thing happens, and everyone's like, "Wow, you're gonna put Starfield on PlayStation? I'm quitting." And it's like, they don't know. And now it's freaking a war zone in there. No pun intended. In their freaking press room, and they've got to figure out how to stop this. It's just everything
Yeah,
is crazy.
yeah. And for a while now, they've been saying how consoles aren't their thing, and they just want people to play games wherever they are. And Xbox fans are like, yeah, see, Phil cares about us. And then
Mm.
he's like, yep, PlayStation 2, and suddenly like all hell's broken loose, and they don't want
Right.
that.
Right. It's like you want a console war because you just want to be mad at something. But
Mhm.
then when there's an exclusive, you're like, well, why can't we all just play in the same place? I wish I could play everything on PC. Until this literally happens, you're the closest you've ever been to hearing there may never be another Xbox. And everyone's pissed about it. Like, oh, I gotta get off this. This is gonna be in the next year's Game of the Year. Oh god. So what we have now also my other thing I was going to say is the Unity charging devs was pretty crazy, but I think it's getting straightened out a bit. So it was more of like a at the time, whoa, this is nuts, but I think they're figuring it out. So,
Yeah, I think Unity found out pretty quick that was a big mistake on their part.
yeah, that didn't help anybody.
I mean, it helped John Riccatello.
It was one of those things where it helps that high tax bracket,
It,
but everything
it
else.
helps his wallet.
Yeah, sure does. You laugh it all the way to the bank. So, I guess we can kind of keep it in this order if we're fine with it of the Game Awards, Who Needs Devs, Fantastic, and then Insomniac Hack. Are we cool with that?
Yeah.
Yep, I'm good with that.
I mean, we didn't really go over the others, but the Fantastic, I mean, if you were online, you saw that shit. That was crazy. They sold a game over the course of multiple years, and then they said, "Screw you, we're done." The game came out. It was based off of other games' assets. It was like a multiverses of other games,
They took their money and ran, and yeah.
and I don't think they ever did anything like that. I don't know where that stands because I don't know anyone who got suckered into buying it. But what a mess.
Yeah, I think Steam had to go back and refund a whole bunch of people because
Oh,
of that.
and then the same thing with the Insomniac hack. I don't really know how that ended. Did they end up paying the money? Because nothing got leaked, right?
Oh, there was a whole bunch of. That's like how people found out about.
Future Insomniac, like Marvel stuff.
Yeah,
Like the Marvel universe that they're building with
Oh god, I
next
dodged all
Spider-Man,
that.
with Wolverine.
Oh,
Detail,
really? It all came out?
yeah, plot details.
No.
Yeah,
That's insane. Did any of you read it?
I tried not to. I saw little
yeah.
bits here and there, but
I'm trying not to because well, yes, I technically have to talk about it.
Oh, Spider-Man, like you said.
Yeah,
Okay, so you're trying to dodge regular Spider-Man 2 spoilers as well as all of that stuff.
yeah. Like I know about a certain thing, but I have no context for it, and I'm trying to make sure that I don't, spoil myself.
Wow. Well, let's stay in our bubble. And I'm sorry to Insomniac for going through all of that, but damn. Wow. Well, then I think that we picked some good choices here. So that is biggest gaming news. We're making pretty good time. We got a small category coming up here. We only have to pick 3 out of these 5, but we have Zeitgeist of the Year, sponsored by Wordle. This is, of course, our top 3 global phenomena of the year, kind of just based on internet discourse and trending things, and just what we felt were big deals of the year. So, our nominees are Tears of the Kingdom, aka everyone's reaction to Pyrrha. We have Final Fantasy 16, Baldur's Gate 3, Making Devs Panic, Starfield, and
Just-
Spider.
Just
Yeah,
Starfield.
just Starfield in general, and Spider-Man 2, aka 12 Inches of Venom.
The, it's still going. It's still going. That joke is still running.
As long as there are collector's items, collector's editions with varied size statues.
Mario 64 will still be able to make joke. Well, maybe we'll still be able to make jokes like that, and I'm here for it.
I'm just thinking like retroactively, like the one collector's item statue that I always think of is the Last Guardian one, because it was just like this big bird dog. It's like 5 inches of bird dog.
Oh, that's hey, you're taking it to very, very bad territory here. What are we doing?
I hate to be steering the ship. So so we have 5 here, but I feel like we could kind of easily break it down. But by Baldur's Gate Making Devs Panic, do you just mean like that it was cemented as like the best RPG of all time and everything is going to be hard to top it?
That was part of it. It was also the whole kind of conversation coming from it about how this little indie dev ended up making such a like triple A type of experience, and
That
it started. Oh, go
making
ahead.
it also like just looking at everything like span of early access to final release. A lot of the games that came out in that period from established companies that had a lot of money put in made said companies look bad when you look at everything that was like a lot of, like that game alone, Baldur's Gate 3, I mean, made games such as Halo Infinite, name a AAA game in the past 2 years.
Starfield.
Made it
Horizon.
one Horizon Forbidden. Well, I mean, there's the whole thing about. Oh, I really wish I'd added just pointless remakes to Zeitgeist of the Year.
Oh, Last of Us 2. Well, that was this year, right?
No, that was Last of Us Part. Oh yeah, that was this year.
That'll be a 2024 complaint.
Yeah, there's also like as Josh was saying, bunch of videos like it was most of this stemming from an IGN video about Baldur's Gate 3 making devs panic,
Mm-hmm.
and it's very ironic because IGN gave Baldur's Gate 3
10, right?
I forget what they gave it a much harsher early access review,
Ah.
and it was Chet Falzek. I think he's working. I think the game he's like the company's at is the company working on or making Anacrusis.
Mm-hmm.
He made a really good video on TikTok of like why IGN shouldn't be saying like they're the last ones that should be saying stuff like this, as they gave it a they gave it a bad review during its early access release, and which just shows why early access reviews shouldn't be like professional reviews of games in early access shouldn't really be a thing, unless it's to a point of the day before.
Well, I would say through all of that, that's guaranteed one of the spots. I mean, I thought right out the gate that in terms of just talking about it and being a phenomena, Baldur's Gate would have to be up there. Do we agree with that?
Oh,
I would
yeah.
think so.
I'd push for Baldur's Gate 3 making it as Panic being like having that be number one.
Okay. Well, we shall address that in a moment. I kind of feel personally I would get rid of Starfield and Final Fantasy. Does anyone disagree with that?
I disagree.
Yeah, I might
Okay.
push back on Starfield at least.
On Starfield, you think Alan, are you the same as Starfield?
Yeah.
Okay. Can we get rid of Final Fantasy then?
Yeah.
Okay. Because personally, I feel like that didn't get enough talk, but I think that's kind of natural because the spotlight is really on 7, like remake and all of the things. Like this year, if Intergrade or whatever it's called doesn't make this list, it'll be insane. But
Rebirth.
Rebirth, right. Um but yeah, I just think 16, I mean, it's supposedly a great game. DJ is like the biggest freaking fan of it in the whole damn world. Dude won't shut up about it, but everyone else, I don't see anybody really talking about it. I didn't ever really see it. So cool. We'll get rid of that one. Now we're down to 4. Starfield, we can keep on because I get why you're saying it. It was good and then it was bad.
No. Yeah, it's more bad than anything else.
More bad. I mean, it was good in terms of like the hype was real for many, many years. And
Yeah,
then
like
it just
I'm looking forward to getting to when I get my new computer so I can play that game with mods, a heavily modded version of that game.
and maybe that'll save it.
Yeah. There's a okay, so I'm just gonna say this now. There's a really great video that Jessie Gender put out of basically pointing out how bad or how flawed the writing is in Starfield, and she mentions the works of Ursula K. Le Guin, who yeah, it's the video is called "The Cyclical Failures of Bethesda's Terrible Writing," and I recommend. I would heavily recommend like when this part of the deliberations goes up. I'm gonna send you the link to the video. I heavily recommend both of you guys watch it because it's really really good, and it even like it playing it or watching the video then playing Starfield makes you realize that like it just breaks the glass of illusion that made you think, oh, this is an interesting game. No, it's everything. I'll save it for when we get to Game of the Year proper. But I personally think I personally feel that like that my 3 for Zeitgeist of the year would be Baldur's Gate, Starfield, and Spider-Man 2, 12 Inches of Venom.
No, you
Because
say go ahead.
Because while Tears of the Kingdom and everyone's reaction to Pura, it was like the way that I've been thinking about like this particular category. It's not just the impact, but how, or not just the like the how, like where it stands in the cultural zeitgeist,
Mm-hmm.
but the impact it makes and leaves. Baldur's Gate 3 is going to be is definitely going to be a good example of if you develop it, they will come. No pun intended. Or no, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying what you think I mean. I'm not saying what you think I mean, people. Starfield, because of how
Like what not to do.
what not to do, how it showcases a flawed system, and Spider-Man 2 12 Inches of Venom, because it's a funny meme, y'all. And also it's one of those things where like it can be adapted into, like, the meme can be adapted into so many different variations.
So before I ask Josh which one he would pick, I feel like it's hard because there's the funny meme, which I'm with you on, and that does fall under this category of just people talking about it being a big thing. That's funny. And then Tears of the Kingdom was massive when it came out. Everyone was doing stuff in it. People are still doing things in it. There's the Pyrrha thing, but I mean, like, even on top of it, it was such a huge game. I mean, it's up for Game of the Year stuff. It's big. So it's a hard decision. I could go with either one. Josh, I want to see how you're feeling.
I would probably go with Tears of the Kingdom, not because of Pyrrha, just because I couldn't tell you anything about Pyrrha.
She's a
The
goddess.
amount of gifs I saw of like what people were creating and doing in that game, I think outweighs anything that I've seen of Spider-Man 2, including the full 12 inches of Venom.
Full 12 inches. Yeah, I think I would probably lean toward that. Would you be cool with that, Alan?
So wait, so what would the top 3 look like?
I think
Tears of the
Baldur's Gate.
Kingdom, Baldur's Gate 3, and Starfield? Or
Yeah, maybe not in that order. Maybe Baldur's Gate we put as first, and then Tears, and then Starfield.
yeah, that works.
Josh, you like that?
I for sure want Baldur's Gate first. I could go either way with 2 and 3.
All right. So let's make Baldur's Gate first. Let's say Tears, because in terms of like Zeitgeist, I'm thinking that it was just huge. I had people talking about it at work that don't even play video games. They were like, "See this Tears of the Kingdom? I want it." Like, what the fuck? And then Starfield, because I mean, it's Starfield may be one of the biggest fumbles of the year.
I will
Segue.
definitely be pushing for it there.
And Tears of the Kingdom is my favorite Zelda game. Shameless plug.
Well,
BG.TV. That's where it's at.
where's that? Check it out.
Let's move on.
Well, let's move on to our next category. Biggest fumble, sponsored by Saints Row. Rest in peace.
Yeah, that is aged. That is not aged. Or what's it? That's,
They tried. They tried to
yeah.
fix it. Our main rule about the fumble that we have established is it had to have expectations in order to fail. So we're not just picking goofy games. We're picking, I mean, maybe the nominees are, but we will whittle this down based on games that had a pretty big hype train and then fell to pieces. So
there's one on here that I want out of here immediately.
okay. Our nominees as they stand are Redfall, Company of Heroes 3, The Lord of the Rings Gollum, Atomic Heart, AEW Fight Forever, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3, The Walking Dead Destinies, and Starfield. Good old Starfield. So, Alan, what's the one you want to scratch?
So Lord of the Rings Gollum, I want that out of here.
Okay.
Because
I would agree with that.
Yeah, because looking at the list of of the nominees, every other game here, there was excitement. There was excitement for, and there was a lot of people who were looking forward to said games. I can't tell you a single person who was looking like when the I think it was when the game got announced or the first screenshot was shown off. People were referencing the like the Hobbit game from like on GameCube, PS2, and I think I have that game on for PS2.
I played that game back in the day. So you're saying, i.e., it wasn't being thought of in a good light.
Yeah, like there was no. I don't know who was really looking forward to this game, and
Yeah, everyone I heard talk about that game thought it looked like a turd. And
yeah, like everyone, yeah, like people were looking forward to it to see how bad it would perform.
All right. I might have put it on here. I might have put it on here more as like, wow, what a stinker. But I will say I was looking forward to it.
Well,
Just
because
because
you're the contrarian
I'm the
out of all of us.
contrarian. Yes, indeed. I do like Lord of the Rings quite a bit. I thought it might have a cool story to tell. And then when I waited like a half hour to play it at PAX and I watched someone have to reset the demo in front of me, and then I tried to play the tutorial and instantly fell through the floor. I I gave up on the excitement. The hype train stopped. And yeah, it was pretty garbage. So I even removed it from my GameFly queue. I was like, it's not worth it.
The hype train didn't stop; it clipped through the wall.
It did. It fell through the floor. Fell after Gollum, and it didn't crush him because there's no collision. So let's see. I mean, I could get rid of another one just because you guys were not looking forward to Walking Dead Destinies. I know you weren't.
I kind of was I was a little bit
Simply
because
because the
it
concept of it.
the concept, the game looked interesting, but then again, I'm very easy to fool. I mean, for God's sakes, I bought so many Xbox 360s that red ringed back
Well,
in the day.
that's not your fault. That just kind of happened to people. You just got to wait on that slim model. But yeah,
I
I
mean,
mean,
I was gonna say I do own way too many copies of W13.
oh well, that is your fault.
Yeah, it's like every day I find a game, and it's like one out of the 5 game out of like one or two games I'll find 9 out of 10 times it'll be W13.
Another copy of it just sitting
Yeah,
around.
it's like we're someone just throwing these to a pocket dimension and just landing in. It's just like what the fuck.
It's Mr. Mixus Picklick. He's pissed with you. Um, yeah, so I mean, it was an interesting concept. It was based on the show. It came out of nowhere with a trailer or screenshots that looked quite good. Like they looked like they were gonna be
What if
parts. Yeah, it was a what if. It was like, hey, you could actually make the governor be good and that kind of thing. And
you can have Shane kill Rick and the Rictatorship,
yeah, you could do that.
or
And you
and
could
yeah,
have
and the Rictatorship before it even begins. Oh,
there was
God.
there was one video I watched on it. I forget who did it. I'll have to find it and maybe link it if I find it. Um, but they just went over all the problems of it. One of them, like, you could have Merle survive, and then like he's just an asshole the whole time, and nothing goes right. Like it would have been an interesting book, but it was done so badly in the game, and I'm
Like
not
an
even
interesting
surprised.
choose your own adventure book.
Yeah, or just like a choose your own adventure comic would be cool.
Yeah, because
Um,
there's no way that people are like kids are buying. Well, maybe I mean I don't know what the young people get up to nowadays.
it's a golden book of Walking Dead. Um, But yeah, so I mean, expectations I don't think were super high for this one. I'm gonna scratch it. But very disappointing. Us Walking Dead fans cannot catch a break with video games. There's only one good one.
State of Decay.
State of Decay. Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah.
It really really
Just
is.
shit all over Telltale's legacy like it means nothing.
Oh
Like
wait, no. I'm talking about Survival Instinct.
Yep. That's the good one.
I gave
I worked.
a game a B. I think a B plus. I think.
I worked
I
with a
think.
guy who liked that game, and I
Uh,
couldn't take him seriously.
I own multiple copies of that game.
Oh my god! You just need a cleansing.
I was sick. I was sick. Okay, I was literally like I was under the weather during that. Like in my review, I wrote that hey, I'm sick. I'm like I was while writing this review, I was playing the game while under the weather,
And I loved
watching
it.
the neighbors on my TV, and like rewatching episodes of Neighbors on Hulu. 2013 is weird, y'all.
Oh man. Well, so now this leaves us with Redfall, Company of Heroes 3, Atomic Heart, AEW Fight Forever, Modern Warfare 3, and Starfield. Where
So,
are
do
yeah.
either of you need me to explain why Company Heroes 3 is on here?
Please, because I have no idea about why it's on here.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Company Heroes, very successful RTS franchise, and I bought like when I during the period of time where I was really into RTS, like World War II RTS games, stumbled across the first two games and really got into them, and then I just dipped for a bit. It was last year. I was looking up. I just randomly came across the stuff like the promotional stuff for Company Heroes 3, and it looked really promising. And by the time I was really waiting for I was waiting literally the day of to buy it on Steam, and it was a nightmare.
It was just broken.
Yeah, there were certain aspects weren't working well. There were, and I haven't checked if it's still if it's been fixed, but there was heavy incentivized microtransactions to the point where it makes the whole thing feel like a shameless cash grab.
Ooh. So would you say, I mean, that definitely sounds like you had a bad experience with it and it ruined your expectations. However, would you say that overall, like it was a very, but like were other people having super problems with it and it was like a big letdown for fans of the series?
It has a mix, or it has a dual mixed in reviews on Steam.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm seeing like a lot of the reviews are negative,
Okay.
and it seems to have gotten worse after the most recent update.
Oh,
Like
well, that's never good.
yeah, like erased a person's save game, or someone's save games that totaled over 500 hours. And yeah, it was the wait between our Company of Heroes 2 and 3 was like a 10-year gap.
Okay,
And
so that was heavily looked forward to then.
and I really really wanted to like the game,
Hmm.
because like this was like Relic Entertainment they know what they're doing with RTS games. Like, I mean, for God's sakes, they made Warhammer. Like they made Dawn of War,
Mm-hmm.
which is a tremendous game, or just a tremendous series. For God's sakes, they made Space Marine.
Space Marine.
Yeah, heresy. It's absolute heresy that
That they would fuck up this
the
immensely.
emperor would be very, very disappointed.
Well, so that makes you want to leave it too. Why don't we pick said number ones with bullets? Just in the essence of
Time.
the six that we have here are really good. Unfortunately, we need 3. But all of these games, Redfall, Company of Heroes 3, Atomic Heart, Fight Forever, Modern Warfare 3, and Starfield, all let us down this year in some aspect. I mean, we didn't all play all of these. I mean, I know you even mentioned earlier, like Redfall. I don't think, have any of us touched Redfall?
Yeah, I played some Redfall.
Did you like it?
Not really.
Okay.
Would it shock you guys if I told you that the developers were hoping that it would be canceled so they wouldn't have to release it? Because if you search for that what I just said, there is a news story about how there was hope when the the ZeniMax acquisition happened by Microsoft, that the game would be seen, like would be evaluated and canceled.
Wow.
It shows.
Yeah.
It shows, but then even, I mean, that
Okay.
kind of, in a way,
I'll-
disqualifies it for me. Because then it's like, the developers didn't even have expectations. What were you
But-
going to say, Al?
No, I was gonna say, like this. I know we're on a time limit, so I'll just say mine. Starfield.
That's mine.
Okay. All right. So Starfield, let's guarantee it. Let's lock it in. I mean, it was number 3 in the Zeitgeist, and I mean, in the past we've been like, oh well, it shouldn't win again, but yeah, it should. It makes sense in both categories. People talked about it. It was a big deal, and it was a big deal for stinking like a hot turd on a warm day. So it gets
What was that quote by Friedrich Nietzsche? Like a turd in the wind.
yeah, that one.
Yeah, everyone
My
knows
favorite
about.
Kansas song.
Oh man, if only. Oh god, I'm very much against AI covers, but
turd in the wind.
Scatman covering a Scatman AI cover of "Turd in the Wind." Oh, that'd be something. That'd be something that surely be something else.
Well, turd in the wind Starfield is up there. All right, so then I'm tempted. One sec. I'm tempted to say I'm gonna get rid of Redfall. Personally, if I had to pick, God, I want to put Atomic Heart on there. Anyone else say that?
I could see it.
Yeah,
I-
because like it's not just on a disappointment level, but on a political propaganda level.
Mm-hmm. It just missed its mark in every aspect, except for its graphics. It kind of delivered on, but that was it.
Yes, it was a beautiful looking game.
And the thirst traps.
What was that? I missed what both of you said.
I said nothing.
Oh,
That kind of did the same.
No, the only good thing I could say about Atomic Heart was the composer taking his money, or donating all of his pay to a Ukraine charity, like
Hmm.
humanitarian stuff.
Big ups for that. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
That's
what was it?
very.
Mick Gordon,
Oh, was it Mick Gordon?
from who did Doom and Doom
Yeah.
Eternal. Yeah, yeah.
Oh wow. Mick Gordon, whom they fucked over extremely, and Mick Gordon, Atomic Heart. Yeah, look at that, he did. Wow.
So
So then we're left with Company of Heroes, Fight Forever, Modern Warfare 3. My heart wants to say Modern Warfare 3, but I'm just mad at it. I think the bigger
I mean, that that would be that would be kind of that would be yeah, because it's like it's just it's just bots. Like it's just a bad multiplayer game, or
Mhm.
it's a bad single player game, or a bad multiplayer game that's disguised as a single player experience.
Yeah, it's just Warzone with bots. But weirdly, I would say the bigger fumble was Modern Warfare 2 because it let me down so much when I played that this past year. Modern Warfare 3, I didn't have expectations for. I already thought it was going to suck. And but then
Well,
in terms of
that's coming from you, and
right, in terms of everybody,
yeah, like the whole thing of achievements and trophies. I think it was achievements and trophies being tied to Modern Warfare 2, and in order to like there was some stuff going on where if you got the early version of the game, you had to do some there was some weird stuff where you had to it also was tied to Modern Warfare 2.
hmm,
Like if you had there were certain things like that certain like I know that a lot like certain things on PlayStation at the very least, like the PS4 stuff, like certain I think it was PS for the PS PlayStation version of Modern Warfare 3, you had to insert the disc version of Modern Warfare 2.
mhm. Yeah, it says that it's considered DLC for Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah.
That's real
So
dumb.
they didn't have a platinum trophy for Modern Warfare 3. You instantly, like, even if you got 100% on MW2, you now had a 49% because 3. Oh,
Yeah.
that's irritating. All right. Anyone else want to vote for that then? Because it sounds like the world kind of hated MW3, which I love.
Well, there's one we didn't really talk about Fight Forever.
Correct. Which is another hype train off the rails.
I had such high hopes.
I kind of did too. I thought it looked good. Were you looking forward to that, Josh?
Not really. I don't have the love for the No Mercy game like a lot of people do, but I
Ah,
can see why it would be on here because I mean they were saying all the right things up
yeah.
until release. Having it was the creator or developer, whoever from No Mercy that was on board, right, Alan?
Yeah, it was one of the key people from Aki.
Yeah, and
Like,
then you have all the wrestlers who are gamers themselves, like kind of taking charge of it, and so it seemed like they were finally going to put out a wrestling game that people had been asking for so long.
yeah, and it wasn't like a situation where it wasn't going to be a situation where it looks photorealistic, therefore it looks very uncanny and all that, like Uncanny Valley, as they since Ukes were using they're going back to the old way of having like polygonal like I don't know what the best way I don't know what the best way to describe the way the art style is, like the way the models are. It looks less realistic than W2K23, which is kind of a good thing depending on what you can tolerate. But it's very bare bones, like a very bare bones experience there. But the roster depth was very visible and very noticeable to a point where the season pass, or not season pass, the wrestlers who were offered as downloadable or the downloadable content was overpriced. If I remember correctly, or if I'm remembering correctly, there was, I think, four players or four characters or four wrestlers cost about $14-15.
Sheesh.
And then there was the whole thing of certain wrestlers being locked behind pre-order paywall, like a pre-order paywall, and like while there are certain things of it, like there are certain things about it that are good, like having your like really fun gameplay. Like there's a when I was talking about it on old players club, I I was I mentioned I was having fun with it, and then just instantly it just became dull very quickly. And yeah,
It's a letdown.
it's because like the whole thing of a report that it was going to be coming to Game Pass, but then that got shot down. Then there was the whole thing of the whole delay, or not the whole delay, the whole like the span of time from announcement to release, with certain wrestlers, a certain wrestler getting embroiled in multiple controversies during the release window and release, and then that wrestler getting released. Not so Voice of the Voiceless.
Yeah, it's kind of a real punk.
Yeah. I sure could go for a Pepsi right now.
How do we feel about that one? Because that was initially one of my choices. I had thought AEW was definitely one that people were pretty hyped about, and it just fell off real fast. But I am torn between these remaining three, and I could honestly go with either one, but I think I got to throw my weight behind Fight Forever.
That was going to be in my top 3.
All right. Alan, you want to lock that in?
Yeah.
All right. So now we just number them. So we have Atomic Heart, Starfield, and AEW Fight Forever.
I personally feel that Starfield needs to be number 1.
Josh, feel the same?
I would agree.
All right, let's do that.
You can thank Microsoft for that. And Bethesda. They both prop that game up way too much for the kind of game it ended up being.
Did Star Citizen ever come out?
Yeah.
Was it also not what everyone wanted it to be?
I know that it's still being like there's still like some hijinks with finance, like with money. Like there's a very premier, like a very bougie ship that is only available if you've spent 48,000 or I think 40, either 4,800 or $40,000.
Insane.
Like it has to do it.
That goddamn game. This Wikipedia page is insane.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Yes, it's the video game version of the Amico.
Holy Christ.
Except, oh wait, no, Starfield, Star Citizen actually came out.
It's got 191 references on its wiki page. It takes up half of the page. My God, this is huge. Well, that's Star Citizen. Our biggest fumbles, sponsored by Saints Row, are Starfield, Atomic Heart, and AEW Fight Forever. Did we like that order? Was that cool?
Yeah,
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, because I feel like Atomic Heart was more like it was less niche than Fight Forever in terms of like out there. A lot more people were like just as let down as Fight Forever, but more people were probably looking forward to Atomic Heart. So yeah, I mean, that's 4 categories, but I know, Josh, you kind of got a dip. So do we want to just stop it there?
Yeah, probably best if we stop there.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, we got 4 of our smaller ones out of the way, which is cool. And I know sometimes you read through them again, but yeah, we'll leave that for the next time. But yeah, I mean, thank you all for joining me. Thank you for listening to this unorthodox first episode. We will try to get Emmett on our next one, but if we don't, it'll be us again, banging out. So
Hanging and banging.
hanging and banging. Just getting some more. I was gonna say banging out more categories, but yeah. So that's been that. Thank you for listening. Please keep an eye on our website and our podcast feed and our YouTube channel that is gonna start having some Steam Next Fest stuff going up soon. And I keep saying yeah, but I'm just gonna cut it there. Thank you very much. We'll see you in the next one.
I got that game of the year, game of the year, game of the year, game of the year, of the year, yeah, yeah, game of the year, game of the year, game of the year.